Would it be absurd if to say that an intelligence agency fine-tuned everything?
Again, yeah.
So it would be absurd to say that something intelligent did an intelligent thing and made things precise.
Complex.
Do you believe the universe is dependent or independent?
I think it's, I don't know.
Or
Independent.
let me rephrase that. Is it contingent or necessary?
I'm edging towards contingent.
It has to be contingent.
Contingent upon
Right.
something.
So doesn't it? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But it's a metaphysical aspect of ourselves. Do you understand what that means?
Not really.
Okay. So there are things that are physical,
Yeah.
and there are things that aren't. So
Uh-huh.
material things. Do you understand the difference between the two?
Not really, no.
You don't.
Metaphysical, something higher than the physical.
Beyond the
Immaterial.
physical. Immaterial.
Immaterial.
Yeah.
So can we show this immaterial thing?
So by definition, you can't,
No. So how do we know it exists?
because of the explanation that I've just provided you.
The thing is, if you expect to come to any sort of truth by knowing everything about anything,
Yeah.
you would never attain any sort of truth. Do you understand?
I do.
No, you can't.
No, I do.
Oh, you
So
understand?
what I'm saying is,
Uh-huh.
did you investigate all possibilities?
No, of course.
Yes or not?
No.
So how do
Hold
you
on,
know it's impossible?
Well,
we said in our
because-
human experience.
Yeah, because
Which is
human
limited.
experience-
To our
No.
human experience.
Yeah,
Which
human
is
experience,
limited.
but it's also the principle. The principle is, right, that information by definition
Yeah.
requires an intelligence behind it.
That's it.
Well, we
Doesn't
can't,
it?
well, there's
How do you
nothing-
get information without intelligence?
Randomly.
What is randomness?
What is randomness?
Now
You're
you're
gonna keep
talking
asking the
every
question?
day.
No, because randomness doesn't exist.
Randomness doesn't exist.
It doesn't
It
I
exist.
does
feel
not
like
exist.
you're
Oh my
dodgy.
goodness.
I feel you're dodgy.
No.
Seriously,
Randomness is
dude.
based-
Random does not
It doesn't
exist.
exist. We call it random.
Probability
No, we
does
call
not
it
exist.
We call it random because
Yeah.
we don't understand every factor that goes into something
Oh, now
happening.
you're using my words. We do not
No,
understand.
so when we say random,
Yeah.
it is it's a word that we use to explain something that we don't actually understand fully. But we know that there is a reason behind it. We simply don't know what it
a
is.
reason beyond the randomness.
You can't
Yes.
demonstrate randomness.
I feel like
You
you're
cannot
on
demonstrate
Let
randomness.
give you an example of a coin. When we flip a coin, is it
Yeah.
random that it lands on either heads or tails?
No,
Why not?
the probability.
I could always
It's
get it to
different
land
to
on head.
random.
No, why
Right,
not? No, let's do random.
We got,
Yeah,
we
but I'm
got
saying
two.
random.
We got two. A dichotomy.
All right, a dice. A dice. If I
This
roll
is the
if I
same
roll a
one.
dice,
There's parameters on the dice.
there's parameters of everything, isn't there?
Randomness is chaotic.
Is it chaotic though?
Is it chaotic?
Give us an example of
It
something
appears,
random.
It appears to be chaotic.
Give us an example.
That's what I'm saying.
The stars in the universe.
They're not chaotic.
Chaotic.
Why are they chaotic?
They're chaotically positioned.
How do you know
No,
they're
they're not.
chaotically positioned?
It's not an order.
Why
do you know it's not an order?
Your eyes are in order.
Whose order?
Your ears
According to
are in
whose order? What
Yeah.
order?
The order is not aligned, is it?
Well, who says that's order?
It doesn't have to be a line for it to be order.
All right, I'm stuck then. I'm stuck.
So no stress, everything else is random.
I thought that's what random is, but if
Random.
you know different,
You can even jump to what did they say about the decaying of radiation or something?
The half-life.
The half-life, yeah.
of carbon 14. And
Yeah, half-life. It's
Yeah.
not random, is it?
It's not random.
No.
It's just that we don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, that's why. But the reason it's called a half-life is because we know what the half-life is. We just don't know the process. So we don't say it's random.
No.
We say there's something happening.
So
we just don't know what it
we
is.
should delete that word out of the dictionary.
Well, no,
random.
because it's the only word that can describe it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, when you try to throw it in though somewhere, it's like randomness of the gaps.
Yeah.
So when you say about the random mutation, it's literally randomness of the gaps. Because
We don't know.
no, because the probabilities of it occurring are so vastly against it. And because then we weigh into the fact that we know in our human experience, there's nothing we know of within our human experience. No, you know, if somebody knew something within our human experience goes against this, yeah, you would have heard Christopher Hitchens say, you would have heard Sam Harris say, you would have heard Dawkins come out with it, you would have heard them all coming out with it, yeah? But they're not, because there isn't. So the idea is that anything that produces information is an intelligent agency. And the question that needs to be asked is, in our human experience, when we experience information, like we got a book now, we know somebody put that book together. Somebody wrote that down. You can't just throw letters on a book and it becomes a paragraph and a story, and we know someone's organized it, yeah? So when we look at the cell, the question needs to be asked, why do we look for a special pleading? Why do we ignore the idea, well, we know whenever information's involved there's an intelligent agency. Why are we dismissing an intelligent agency at this point now? What is the special pleading based upon? And the answer is very simple, because it means God. No, it's not God of the gaps.
Well, who mentioned God?
No.
What were you going to come to? What conclusion just then?
This is
you
what-
were coming
What
to
conclusion
something.
can I come to?
Yeah, you're gonna-
How can I hang my hat on something I cannot define?
No. So
We're
what
not
would you,
asking you
so,
to. We're not
so
asking
we,
you to do
we
that.
don't mind if you want to say intelligent agency.
Yeah,
Why am I talking like a brummie?
Yeah.
You're sucking me into your living no Royce. Oh my God.
From his hand, is it not?
I'm starting to live here.
Yeah, you did. I saw-
I sound like I'm in Peaky Blinders.
I had that slip.
Can influence you
Right,
very
sorry.
easily. Yeah?
What was your name again? Sorry, man.
Peaky Blinder.
Peaky Blinders. Like already Peaky Blinders.
Charles, get serious with this. Now,
I am
you
very
wanted a
serious.
serious thing.
This is very serious.
That's
I
it.
don't know where we're going with it though.
We know.
He said there's no random.
Right, no.
So there's no probability.
So the
either.
question, no. So the
Probability
question,
is different from randomness.
you said that.
I did. I'm just making sure you're on the same page.
Yeah, you ain't gonna slip us one of them.
Random, probability, and chance.
Chance.
Yeah. A chance.
Chance is probability.
Yeah, chance is probability.
Okay.
So we got probability, yeah, and because you asked for maths, you see, and I give you maths. Now you can go even deeper. You can go to the chemistry. Okay, where does this magic custard come from? This carbon compound that you need to get to the cell. Where's that from?
Isn't that in the stars?
Right, and what's the probability of that occurring, other than not occurring?
Not sure.
Same stupid probabilities.
Yeah, not sure. High numbers.
And then you can go again, backwards again. To get to the stars, we need the universe, we need the fine-tuning of the universe.
Yeah, fine tuning.
Got probability again now.
Again, but on this fine tuning and the chance of it happening, there is a specific number.
No, you're in the same ballpark.
Not you say no.
I'm saying,
Is there a number
No.
that
Hear him
a
out,
possibility?
Hear him out. Maybe something you don't know.
When you
you've
say
got.
possibility, it could be.
1 second, sorry. Let me
that's
just state this again.
Okay.
go on.
Is there a chance of this thing happening?
What, the fine tuning?
Yeah.
What, other than an intelligence agency behind it?
And no one mentioned the intelligent agency.
No, I'm saying other than. Are you saying a probability or a chance other than an intelligence agency? Is that the question?
No. The question is there a probability this thing can happen
Well, there has
by
to be, isn't
chance?
there? There has to be. Yeah, of course.
What is the number?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
In an infinite possibility,
Well, there's no such
can
thing as
it?
an infinite.
There's not such a thing.
There's no actual infinite. There's a theoretical infinite in mathematics, but there's an actual infinite. This is why you
I
have a
can give you a
problem
working analogy, actually, that I heard one time, and you can check it out. I think William Lane Craig coined this one. He says, so if you take a coin, you know, I'm going to use his example of America, right? You take a coin and you paint it blue. Then you stack the whole of America with coins. Listen it. To the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon, right? And then I blindfold you, and I tell you, find the coin. The probability of you finding that coin is 1 billion times more likely than fine-tuning happening by accident. Now the question needs to be asked. You can and what? Now the question. You've got this probability here, and you're choosing that. Why?
Charles.
You like maths? Why? Why would you go for that? Such an absurd probability, man.
What are you smiling for?
Because.
No, I didn't say that. You said that.
That looks like a nice
Go on again.
Because
Go on. Go on. Why?
the absurdity
No. Go on. No. Let him answer. Let him answer. The absurdity of what?
of the cosmos coming into being.
Would it be absurd if to say that an intelligence agency fine-tuned everything.
Again, yeah.
So it would be absurd to say that something intelligent did an intelligent thing and made things precise.
Complex.
Well, naturally it will be complex because it's able to create things up.
We're
We perceive
touching
are
your
complex.
new senses, aren't we?
But isn't the beginning of the universe simple?
According to who?
Or complex?
According to who?
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure. The atom.
Is fine-tuning
complex.
simple or complex?
It seems to be complex.
It's complex.
Right?
Right, so that's what he said. Is it unreasonable to say that there must be something intelligent behind it? Organising it. Tuning it.
Is that an assumption?
At present, we're just asking, is it reasonable?
Is it reasonable?
Isn't
It's like this.
reasonable?
It is. It's reasonable. Just say it. Do you want to say it? You want to say it?
I'd like you to take your hands off me.
Sorry, John.
And I just don't know. My reasoning just goes.
It's good.
It goes out the window.
Well, it shouldn't do, because
No. I can't just because what we see in the macro world is cause and effects and reason, but in the beginning of the universe, everything is shot to shit.
Do you believe in a necessary being?
No.
You don't believe it's something necessary?
No.
Do you believe the universe is dependent or independent?
I think it's. I don't know.
Or
Independent.
let me rephrase that. Is it contingent or necessary?
I'm edging towards contingent.
It has to be contingent.
Contingent upon
Right.
something.
So doesn't it? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So what does the universe? What is the universe contingent upon?
It's contingent upon natural things. Because we live in a natural universe.
What natural, okay, one second. What natural thing is the universe contingent upon?
Atoms.
Atoms came into existence, though.
Atoms came into existence.
So how can it be
So
dependent
atoms
on
are contingent.
You can't have the contingent thing be a contingent on itself.
We need something necessary.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
So you said that because you said nature, right? And
Yeah.
then he asked you what that is, and you said atoms. But atoms came into existence, so they're contingent themselves. So you can't say that a contingent thing is contingent on itself. Therefore, you're saying it's actually independent.
Why not?
But it's
Why can't
not,
that atom be contingent upon itself?
Because that means it's independent.
Then it can't be independent.
No, an atom is not independent. It's
Dr.
contingent on
Imran!
something else. I think
Is he still going?
yeah.
I don't know.
Gosh, yeah.
It's a tough one.
Because I want to lock it down. I want to lock this down with the doctor. No.
Are you doctor?
No, he's not.
No.
doctor.
Oh, sorry.
We have the
doctor.
doctor. We have the doctor.
Imran, yeah.
Because
That's where the
Sorry.
first question came from. Cause and
Doctor
effect.
of
That's why I
what?
recited all that.
He's
a
a
medical
GP.
doctor.
He's
Yeah, he's a
No, I call him
GP.
doctor out of respect.
Oh, okay,
The point is,
alright.
his knowledge on this subject is just next level.
Can you call me professor then?
Why, are you a professor?
No, but you know.
Why would you be a
He's not a doctor, is he?
He's a doctor.
He is a
Oh, he is a doctor.
Yeah, he is a doctor.
He's a GP. Let me just see.
Yeah.
And he,
I wanna get-
and he
I wanna
knows
get-
about
yeah, get
the start of the universe.
No. He understands the principle of contingent and independent. So, for example, energy can't exist. You know the second law of thermodynamics, yeah?
Can't be created or destroyed.
Continue.
Is there another bit to it?
Oh no, continue. Yeah. See, you guys always stop at that point
Yeah, I do, yeah.
within a closed system.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So the energy is dependent upon a closed system for
Yeah.
its existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the universe.
Yeah.
So we're making a lot
So
of
the
sense.
energy requires the universe for its
Outside.
existence, and the universe requires energy for its existence. Therefore, they're both contingent. So we still need something necessary. We still need something that's independent, because they're both dependent. So when we look for this independent thing, now God, I wouldn't jump to that.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
Not yet.
Yeah, but the point here is
Not
that
yet.
because what will happen is this, you see, we're going to end up, like, I guarantee you, we can demonstrate that the science of physics, chemistry, and biology all point towards an intelligent agency behind everything. Yeah, standard.
You were certain.
And we,
Charles,
yeah.
why'd you smile at
no.
that point? I just wonder.
And then the next.
Because it sounds like you're joining the dots.
No,
to-
well, no, we are because look.
Is that possible?
Just one second. to get to the
I like that look.
to get to the Big Bang and the expansion of the universe and the fine tuning. Yeah, they were talking physics, isn't it? And then to get to the magic custard, we need the stars fine tuning to produce carbon, and then to get to and then that gives us our little single cell. And then from that point, using the biology, we need this random mutation to be harnessed by natural selection, then to become something else.
Beautiful.
That's what you need. But if you look at the probabilities of each stage, it's absurd. It really is absurd. There's a beautiful book I think you should read, and it'll really benefit you. It's called The Return of the God Hypothesis by a guy called Stephen Meyer. Yeah, and he's got all the atheists running for the hills. He does irreparable damage.
Whoa.
I'm telling you straight. Look, I'm saying this on camera. Yeah, this book is next level. You know what it does? You see, because all the things that the neo-atheists are bringing to the table now to challenge the idea of God, quantum mechanics, multiverse, DNA, all this kind of stuff, is evidence against them. And that's the reality. Because the more we discover, you know, people always say, oh, in the future science is going to discover this, science is going to discover that, and then we won't have to believe in God, yeah? The problem you got is the more science discovers, the more it's flipping out, the more it can't explain. The more it becomes so more wondrous. When you go to quantum mechanics and what's going on there, you think, mind blowing. To Imran, I just want to help my brother. What's your name? I don't know.
Joz.
Joz.
Imran.
How you doing?
Be careful, his brother accent wears on you, and you start talking all Royce. But anyway, he's a beautiful brother. Yeah. So what we're talking to was the argument for contingency. So I've explained to him with regards, you know, the idea of the random mutation of the cell, the absurdity of the probability that it would occur for a beneficial thing. Then we went to the magic custard and the compound and the carbon forming in the stars. And then we got to the universe and the fine tuning again, absurd probability that it could tune itself to the way it is exactly. Yeah. So then we got to a point now where we're determining is the universe itself, does it require something necessary? I think he kind of accepted it, did actually, because he did actually concede that the universe is contingent. It's just explaining to him about that, because he tried to say, what did you say? What was your atoms?
You know, the universe is made of atoms. Is the atom contingent upon itself or independent?
So what are atoms made of?
What, the quarks,
What are quarks made of?
Boson.
What are they made of?
We haven't got there yet, have we?
Absolutely. So what you're noticing is that there's something else more fundamental than whatever you're observing, and this is part of the contingency. In that there's a reason outside of that for something else for that thing to exist.
Scientifically.
Yeah. Well, just observationally. You can say scientifically, but over time we observe these things.
Well, yeah, but only through science.
So science is the tool we're using at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's not the only source of knowledge. So
no, it's not.
In fact, science assumes a few things that it's foundational for it to be able to work. So it assumes, for example, that you're a conscious being. It assumes you have the ability to use logic.
Yeah.
It assumes that your senses are reliable. It just assumes that your rationality is such that it's truth-seeking and you receive truth from your thinking. So these are all things that science can't prove, but they assume. Okay. So these are the fundamental sort of things that science itself is built upon. It never claims to be the only source of knowledge. So logic, for example, is something that science needs, but it has to exist before science can be done. So we assume logic. Maths is the same. We assume mathematics to be able to do the science.
But it can manifest in reality.
What do you mean?
Mathematics.
In the sense, manifesting what way? In the sense that we use.
We can show. We can demonstrate.
Can you?
2 + 2 =
4.
Yeah.
How are you doing that?
How? Like you can get two objects and label it and.
Perfect. So this is where we're starting from. We're starting from this observing the universe. So when you observe the universe, you see that there are things in this universe which are contingent. That means that they need an explanation outside of themselves to explain their own existence.
Yeah.
And then we can keep doing that to the whole point where the universe itself is a set of contingent things.
Yeah.
Yeah. The property of a set can be applied to the whole set itself. So I'll give you an example. If I draw a rectangle, this is everything that exists is within that.
Yeah.
I can draw within that a set of contingent things, and then there's another bit outside of that set, which is still everything that exists.
Yes.
Now that everything else that exists is not in the set of contingent things. It has to be something which is necessary. contingent things require an explanation for themselves that's outside of themselves. So you need something outside of contingent things, i.e. the universe, to explain its existence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now that thing, now we're not even talking about what this thing is, but that thing is a necessary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, necessary being is a term used.
Entity. Yeah.
So we can say entity. Now, the question then comes, we have to use our logic that we spoke about and our rationality to say what qualities would this necessary being have to bring the effect that we see that the universe is, time, space, matter, everything that we see. What qualities do you think it would need to have?
I'm not sure.
Come on, you're an engineer.
You're an engineer?
He's an
You know this
engineer.
already. Come on.
Creator. He's got to create.
Has to be able to bring about the universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there energy in the universe?
1 second. There's more attributes now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You need a starting point. You need to have
You're there.
a foundation, a mind, an intelligence.
Why'd you say that? I agree with you, but I'm asking you.
How can you put things together without an idea?
Okay, so we
And
can
a
say,
foresight of how it's going to work. I need to have thought process, a mind.
so mind to bring about the effect, which is the universe.
1 second.
And
More than that. More than that. So for a mind to work, you need a brain.
does it?
Does it?
Get
Because
off
what
that
we
ice.
see,
Get back off that ice.
what we see observationally is minds and brains working together.
Okay.
A physical brain.
So now we're away from that initial concept. We're back in the universe. And what you're saying is that, so you understand we have to separate these two things out. So we were in a place that is outside of the universe. And you're saying that minds to exist require brains. That brings us back into the universe. So we need to have this conversation again. So the idea is that what you're putting forward is that the only time that we see consciousness is in brains, with brains. Okay, what does that tell you?
Well, brains exist. That minds exist within a brain.
Within a brain.
Within a brain.
Is there any way to look at anything in the brain and determine consciousness? Any way of doing it?
No, it's hard to define.
No. If you do scans of people's brains when they're thinking or having thoughts or whatever that might be, can you see anything in terms of what they might be thinking or what their thought process might be or anything like that?
MRI scan, electrical activity, no.
That's all you will see with electrical activity. Can we? How
Neurons firing.
Neurons firing. So how would you correlate that to what the thoughts are? How can we do that?
To what the what, sorry? The what?
How do we correlate that
Yeah.
to what the thoughts are?
Thoughts. Thoughts.
So if I was
Yeah. That's all we can do is assume there's a correlation.
So how do we verify?
How do we
So if you
verify
say to
that?
somebody, I want you to think this thing,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to check your brain when you're thinking it. How do we check that actually happened? We have to go back to the person and say, were you thinking that thing?
Yeah.
So what that means is that what we see, the blip on the screen or the image that we see or the scan that we see, is meaningless without the subjective experience of the person who's doing the thinking.
Yeah, sure.
And sometimes, so there was a famous experiment that Sam Harris cites in his book about consciousness. It's called, what's it called? Free Will. He cites experiment. It's a Libet experiment where they get you to, you're watching a hand on a clock go around the clock, and at a certain point you have to select a number you want, and you have to press something to say this is what you thought, and they're able to look back and see what was happening in your brain.
Yeah.
So in that there was this suggestion that 80% of the time, just before you made a choice, there was some activity that preceded that. So the idea was that this activity led to the choice occurring and you were not aware of it. So you're
Against free will.
yeah, this is against free will. Now the problem with that is that 20% of the time that wasn't the case. So 20% of the time you were making a choice without this build-up. Now, just so using some basic, you know this already. So if the idea is that P causes Q, this is what they're saying. That we see this activity, and then suddenly you make a choice. Now the problem is, if that's the case, if the neural activity is causing your choice, then there wouldn't be an exception to that. So if you have instances of your choice occurring without the neural activity, then one does not cause the other. They may be linked. There may be a correlation.
Yeah.
But there's no causation.
Uh-huh.
You understand? And that's what happens here. So when we look at images and we think about consciousness, we're always talking about correlation or causation.
Yeah.
Now, so there's no concept. So for example, say if you were to get somebody, our brain is in two halves. Yeah. It's joined in the middle by a thick.
Frontal
Yeah,
cortex.
that's right. That's called the corpus callosum.
You love that as an engineer, then imagining the tool, you'd fix it.
Now imagine you chop that centre bit in half so that you have two separate brains.
Yeah.
What happens to consciousness? What
It
happens?
doesn't exist.
No, it does exist.
It stops. It ceases to exist.
No, it still exists.
If you separate the brain,
Yeah. in half.
front lobe,
So we have.
it's still there.
It's still there. So there are people.
What
I'll explain. So there are people who have maybe a certain condition, like maybe a severe type of epilepsy or something like this, where you would cut the centre, you would separate the two halves of the brain.
Yeah.
Now, if consciousness was a property of the brain, what would happen to the consciousness of these two separate halves of the brain? What would happen?
They separate. No?
Okay, that's what you'd expect. I agree with you. If consciousness were a property of a brain, then the
Yeah.
hemisphere that would be acting as a complete brain on its own would have a consciousness,
might just be an Arab
and the other hemisphere that's now acting as a complete brain on its own would be also a consciousness.
Yeah.
You'd get a splitting of the consciousness. You don't find that.
No.
You still have one consciousness in these two separated hemispheres of the brain.
Okay.
So what that tells you is that the consciousness itself is not something that is reducible to something material or something within the brain. Now, I would.
What is it?
It's not something that's reducible.
Do you know what it is? What consciousness
So
is?
so an explanation for it I can give you. Can I claim to know exactly what consciousness is? I can't. So we would say that we would be what we would call, we have a physical aspect of ourselves and we have a spiritual aspect of ourselves.
Spiritual.
Yeah, the soul. Talking about the soul. That's what-
Is that medical?
No, it's not medical. So what is that? What do you mean by that?
What is that? Because I don't know what a soul is.
No, I don't know what the soul is either. But it's a metaphysical aspect of ourselves. Do you understand what that means?
Not really.
Okay. So there are things that are physical,
Yeah.
and there are things that aren't.
Uh-huh.
So material things. Do you understand the difference between the two?
Not really, no.
You don't.
Metaphysical, something higher than the physical.
Beyond the
Immaterial.
physical. Immaterial.
Immaterial.
Yeah.
So can we show this immaterial thing?
So by definition, you can't.
No. So how do we know it exists?
Because of the explanation that I've just provided you. That there are things that you can't explain if you have a... So let me put it this way. Let's assume that only the material world exists.
Yeah.
Let's make that assumption.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Which is what you believe.
This is what you believe.
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Materialism.
Okay.
That's good, man.
So, in the material world, things act according to natural laws.
Uh-huh.
They interact in those ways, and they bring about effects. Yeah, atoms act with other atoms.
Yeah.
Molecules act with other molecules. Your brain is just a sophisticated combination of molecules
Yeah.
that are interacting. Your thoughts are the effects of those interactions within your brain. Okay. So your thoughts or your thinking are because of chemical interactions within your brain.
No.
Now, the chemical interactions only occur according to the laws of nature.
But this conversation is
Yeah, it's worth
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Does that, you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And those laws of nature dictate exactly how these are going to be. Now, if that's the case, if everything is acting according to laws and they're interacting in this way,
Yeah.
and your thoughts are a process of that,
Uh-huh.
then your thoughts are determined by the laws of nature as they are.
Yes.
You're not able to think outside of that.
No.
So do you think, I'm asking you a question now, do you think that you are able to think freely or not?
Think freely. Tricky one.
So what are your thoughts?
Hard.
Oh, that's a good one. you think really? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Hard question.
So
I do not know.
Sure. So the question then, so everything else is now really irrelevant until you
intended.
decide
Yeah.
that you actually have thoughts that are your own. If your thoughts are not your own, if your thoughts are just the effect of lots of effects happening before,
Yeah.
then you're just a machine that thinks it's able to think.
Yeah.
Actually, you're not. So
I'm not.
if everything is material,
Yeah.
then you are simply a machine that thinks it can think freely, but actually you can't think freely. So you have to decide for yourself where you want to place yourself. Are you a thinker
I'll tell you what.
or not?
I'm gonna have to think about that.
No, are you sure?
Nice.
Yeah. And come back to you.
Nice.
All right.
Right, okay.
When are you here?
We're back on the 18th
right.
of December.
Okay.
I think it's 18th.
I have to look more into that one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Have a look.
Do you want to take our details and we can contact?
No, it's fine.
We can do some online.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
Okay.
We're here every Sunday.
I'm really gonna delve deep
Nice.
You need
into
to.
the consciousness,
Nice.
Yeah, you need to.
the hard question.
That's it.
Good man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I want you to get today.
You're a good guy,
Someone
man.
in the
You're a good guy, man.
Yeah.
Someone in
See
the
it.
devil.
See, what it is sometimes, right, there's knowledge out there that has not come to us yet. And it's that resonates sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you get
For sure.
me? So, but it's
Sure.
whether you're honest enough
I'm honest.
to embrace it.
Brutally honest.
You know the first thing I said to him when we met again today? I said, I know you're humble and you're sincere. Wallahi, I said that to him.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And he is that.
Good man. We like that.
And that's the
Nice to
quality.
meet you, man.
I answered your questions honestly as I could.
Beautifully.
That's
I
it. That's
appreciate
it.
Yeah.
So imagine a Christian asking these questions. They'll just be telling you Jesus loves you.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care, dude.
Thank you.
Good
Where
man.
you going?
Ta-ra.
Which one am I going?
Yeah.
Do you want to come eat with
Leaving
us?
the park.
We're going to go eat now. Do you want to join us?
I'll run home. See the kids.
All right.
Take care, dude. Ta-ra. That's beautiful. Jazakallah khair, man. Huh?
Alhamdulillah. It's,
Such a nice guy. Yeah. And yeah, okay, mashallah, that was Charles. Very, very, very humble brother. Alhamdulillah. He was speaking to our brother. Where's he gone? I don't know what his name is. Very nice brother, mashallah. No, Charles is Charles. Talk about the Bengali brother. Very nice. I think he's Bengali. Oh. Anyway, so basically, he was trying to talk to him about the Quran and the verses in the Quran and how they point to the existence of a creator. Now, I basically said, look, with Charles here, you need to take a step back. We need to leave religion to the side, and we need to go back to the creator. So he admitted to being a solipsist, but then he said he's only a solipsist when it comes to religion. When it comes to everything else in his life, he doesn't have this kind of skepticism, which is a kind of dishonesty to a point. So anyway, so I did my Return of the God hypothesis, pointing how biology, chemistry, and physics takes everything back to an intelligent designer, intelligent agency, because that's our human experience. And then obviously we get to the causation of the universe, we got to contingency, and that's when mashallah the doctor comes. This is the kind of conversations we really do enjoy. This is why we do come to Speaker's Corner, because this guy, he had questions asked to him that he's never been asked before. And I'm not going to say he was picking on low-hanging fruit with the brother, but he wasn't ready for what came. And so alhamdulillah, he's going to go away because he got the hard question of consciousness, and he's going to realize very soon that you can't just use materialism to explain these things. So inshallah, get ready for part 2 with him. The next time we come to the park, inshallah, it should be another fruitful discussion, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.